Have you ever pushed yourself to the absolute limit, putting in more hours than anyone else, yet still feeling like you're barely keeping up? You watch others achieve more with what seems like less effort, and you're left wondering, what's the real secret to success? This isn't just a story about hard work. It's about the one encounter that taught a determined man the life-altering difference between effort and strategy. In a valley where farming was a way of life, there lived a man named Leo. Leo, 32, owned a modest 10-acre farm passed down from his father. His core belief was simple and uncompromising: success is born solely from relentless hard work. Every single day, Leo rose at 4 a.m. He worked the land entirely by hand, rejecting modern tools as a point of pride. He planted each seed manually, watered rows with a heavy bucket, and painstakingly pulled every weed. His hands were cracked and bleeding, his back a constant ache, but he wore his exhaustion as proof of his dedication. At night, he'd collapse into bed, too spent to eat properly or talk with his wife, Clara. She'd watch him with concern and say, "Leo, you're working yourself to death. There has to be another way." But Leo would shake his head. "Clara, nothing worthwhile comes easy. Hard work never fails. I just need to push harder." His neighbors admired his stamina but pitied his struggle. The truth was stark. Despite working twice as long as anyone, Leo's farm yielded just enough to get by. His crops were average, his profits meager, and his life outside of work was non-existent. Next door lived a man named Elliot. Elliot was the same age, farmed the same amount of land, and started with even less. Yet, Elliot worked from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. He used efficient irrigation, hired help when needed, and spent his evenings with his family. Astonishingly, his farm produced double what Leo's did. This fact ate at Leo constantly. Then, a severe drought hit the valley. Water became precious. Leo responded the only way he knew, with sheer force. He began waking at 3 a.m., making 50 trips a day from a distant well, his body screaming in protest. "Hard work never fails," he chanted to himself. Elliot, meanwhile, simply adjusted his irrigation to water during cooler hours, minimizing waste. On the 15th day of this brutal routine, Leo's body gave out. He collapsed between rows of parched crops, the water bucket spilling into the dust. Clara found him there, unable to stand. The doctor was blunt. "Mr. Leo, your body is shutting down. Continue like this, and you won't see the next harvest." Lying in bed that night, Leo felt a crushing defeat. Not from the drought, but from a terrifying thought his entire belief system might be wrong. "I did everything right," he whispered to Clara. "I sacrificed everything. Why am I failing?" Clara held his hand. "Maybe hard work isn't the whole answer. Maybe there's something you haven't learned." 3 days later, humbled and desperate, Leo knocked on Elliot's door. Elliot welcomed him in. They sat on the porch, overlooking Elliot's thriving fields. "Elliot," Leo began, "I work twice your hours, but you produce double. How?" Elliot was quiet, then stood. "Let me show you something." He led Leo to a shed and picked up 2 axes, one dull, one razor sharp. "Imagine 2 woodcutters," Elliot said. "The first swings his axe for 12 hours straight, never stopping. He believes more effort means more trees." He handed Leo the dull axe and pointed to a log. "Try it." Leo swung. The blade bounced off. After 10 swings, he was breathless, and the cut was shallow. Elliot took the sharp axe. 3 precise swings split the log cleanly in 2. "The second woodcutter works 10 hours, Elliot continued. "But every hour, he stops for 10 minutes to sharpen his axe. By day's end, he's felled twice as many trees." He looked Leo in the eye. "You, my friend, have been swinging a dull axe for years." Elliot then shared 3 principles. First, systems over effort. "I don't carry water. A drip irrigation system does it automatically. You spend 6 hours, my system needs 10 minutes. Second, focus over hustle. I grow only 2 crops that excel here. You grow 5, spreading yourself thin. I master 2 things, you struggle with 5. Third, rest is strategy. I sleep, exercise, and think clearly. You're too exhausted to see solutions. You make costly mistakes." Elliot placed a hand on Leo's shoulder. "You're not failing from lack of effort. You're failing because you only know effort. It's time to sharpen your axe." Leo went home with a new, feeling hope. He didn't run to the fields. Instead, he sat with Clara and a notebook. "Teach me to think differently," he said. The next morning, Leo worked for only 4 hours, then stopped. He used the saved time to research, plan, and learn. He sold an unused piece of equipment to fund a drip irrigation system. He reduced his crops from 5 to 2 of the most profitable varieties. He hired help during the busiest season. The most profound change was in his life. He had dinners with Clara. He played with his children. He exercised, which made him stronger and more focused. His friends remarked, "You're working less, but you look better." 6 months later, harvest arrived. Leo's fields produced 40% more than his best year ever. He worked 7 focused hours a day instead of 15, but those 7 hours were infinitely more productive. Elliot visited and nodded with approval. You learned the lesson. Now you're not just a hard worker, you're a smart worker. Leo clasped his hand. Thank you for showing me there's more than one way to build something great. Friend, this story isn't about farming. It's for anyone who believes that suffering equals success. Here is the truth: hard work is necessary, but it is not enough. The most successful people work the smartest hours, not the most. Remember this: before you work harder, ask if there's a smarter system. Focus beats hustle every time. Excellence in a few areas trumps mediocrity in many. And rest is not laziness, it is what keeps your mind sharp enough to strategize. Your challenge this week: look at your most time-consuming task. Ask yourself, is there a smarter way? A tool to use? A system to build? Take one afternoon to build that leverage instead of just pushing harder. You are not a machine meant to break. You are a thinker meant to create. Stop swinging the dull axe. Sharpen it. If this story resonated with you, please share this video and subscribe to Stories of Motivation for more transformative tales. Let me know in the comments what's one task you will optimize this week. I'll be back next time with another story to change how you think about success. Until then, remember, strategy beats exhaustion every single time.